Hey, y'all. Real quick before I get to my other stuff I got to do in my life, I did some homework for y'all. So, two things here. This is a freight current map that I created for y'all out of my own personal experience. And these last 6.5 years I've been on the road, and my 12 years of trucking. As you can see, Baltimore right here, this is my home. The country is my backyard, however. I swing back and forth across the country like Tarzan swings across branches in the gym. Excuse me, in the jungle. I've been up for a minute, y'all. Also, I went and printed this out. It didn't print out exactly how I wanted it to, but I got me some markers and fixed it up for y'all. This is a fuel price map. So everywhere where you see in blue, this is where diesel fuel is the cheapest. Everywhere where you see in red, that's where diesel fuel is the highest. So when y'all see me doing loads cross country, you can't, and I got me a fresh joint here, the other one I had in the truck. You cannot base a load going cross country off of Baltimore, Pennsylvania, and Virginia diesel. Why? Because you're going 3,000 miles across almost. And if you are strategic, you will fuel up in just the right places. And when you get to a high state, you want to calculate your miles until you get to the border and put just over enough to get across the border so you can fill up. Now, this don't seem like it's very important. And in the beginning, I used to just fill up the tank anywhere I needed it, whenever I needed it, and keep it going. But let me drop this on you. If you running hard like I do, you running cross country, you filling up your tank every single day. Okay? One thing, truck stops and gas stations. They could be a truck stop charges you for convenience. What do I mean? There could be a gas station right next door. I mean, literally right next door or smack dab across the street, and it's a 50-cent difference. 50 cents doesn't seem like a lot, but when you have 100-gallon tanks on each side, you could be saving $50 to $100 a day just by strategically filling up your tank. And what does that equal? Well, it's around 30 days in a month, depending on the month. 50 times 30 is 1,500. 100 times 30 is 3,000. Just to put it in terms that's relatable, when you're looking at mortgages, every 100,000 is going to cost you around $700 to $800 a month. So even at the low end of the spectrum, just saving $1,500 a month by strategically fueling, you're saving yourself the cost of a $200,000 house per month. Now, if you think this don't make sense, let that sink in. Because just by fueling up anywhere and any time, you could be cheating yourself out of a $200,000 house. When you look at it like that. Okay, now this map is coming from an East Coast perspective. I'm going to sit this down and do a separate video so you can understand what I mean by this. But I want to break down the colors right now. A lot of people talk about good rates and bad rates. If you're talking to a broker, they'll talk about backhaul rates and outbound rates. If you're talking my language, I talk fuel and profit. So like I talked about the other day, going up to New York, that's green. All up in the Northeast, that's green. That's your profit. Coming back down is your fuel money. So the red is fuel. That's where you just covering your costs to do the load and the next load you'll do. The green is where you make your profit. And the black are interchangeable markets. So what do I mean by that? I played the West Coast for a minute. This is a serious line right here. Up and down 5. The same way we have 95, they have I-5. The highways go across and up. So you'll have I-5 over here, then you'll have 95 over here. You'll have 10 down here, then 20, then 30, then 40, then 70, then 80, then 90. The even numbers go up. The odd numbers go across. That's how you can tell the direction that you're traveling. But right here, certain times of the year, you'll make a killing coming from LA to Seattle. But then different times of the year, you'll make a killing coming back down. It's all up in that same corridor. The same thing with going cross country. There's times of the year where you can get $7,000, $8,000, $9,000 coming from Washington, Oregon, and then it'll flop from Los Angeles. But different times of the year, you'll get your money coming back. So these arrows in the black are interchangeable lanes where different times of the year, your profit is on different ends. So I just wanted y'all to understand that. I'm going to sit it down so you can get a clear picture. And I'm going to go through each one of these states so you can see how you have to navigate when you're on the roads out here. You can't just go from load to load to load. And you also can't look at the numbers from one single solitary load and say, well, this ain't good enough, I don't want to do it. No, that's not how it works. You have to calculate the cost per load. Then you put your loads together and collectively come up with what you come up with. So normally, if you're looking at layman's terms, you could calculate your miles. Say if a load is 700 miles, if you wanted to do simple math, you could say it costs you $1 a mile, which it does not. It costs you less, but that will simplify the math. So if you say if a load costs you, if a load pays you $3,000, and it's 1,000 miles, you can take $1,000 off simple math, and you say, okay, well, I'll profit this and profit $2,000 off of this load, and I normally drive 500 to 700 miles a day, so it's going to take me 2 days to do it. That's one way to do it. Or you can add everything up at the end of the week and see what you come up with. But if you are calculating load by load, you're going to stay yourself wrong, because that's not how it works in business. You want to make profit on each load, yes, and you should and you will if you do it correctly. However, there are loads that are going to pay much more for going in different directions. And you can't say that because one load paid you $6 a mile to go one direction and it's only paying you $2 a mile to come the opposite direction, that it's a bad load. No. You solve that problem by adding both loads together, calculating your miles, deducting your costs, and seeing what your net profit is. Then you make a decision if you want to keep doing it or not. All in all, if you're doing things right, you should be making $8,000 to $12,000 a week, and you should be keeping anywhere between $4,000 to $7,000 of that. If you're running local, you should be doing anywhere between 5 to 7. We're talking averages now. Sometimes, some weeks you're going to be better. But also your fuel is going to be less, and your maintenance is going to be less, because you're going to be dealing with your known trusted mechanics that you have a relationship with, as opposed to getting raped on the road by fly-by mechanics who see you coming. So I'm gonna cut this short. I'm gonna drop this, and I may put it up in the morning because I don't want to take over y'all timelines. So stay tuned till next time. Peace, and stick to the script.